What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, D and Dual commentary. Alright, so we've got Qliphort95 and Crasher93. It's interesting, their names are kind of similar. I'm pretty sure Crasher's running Shaddolls. In fact, that's the whole reason I tried to record this. He is running Shaddolls. There we go. He actually just beat someone playing Necros, although the Necros player, I think his rating was only like 1200 or something like that, so he may have been kind of unfamiliar with the deck, or, you know, maybe not the greatest player ever. But anyways, these are very high ratings. I mean, you got almost 1750 here. He's almost at 1700. So this should be a very good indicator. Now, when I used to play this matchup, well, first off, you're already good if your opponent doesn't have, Scout, and it's 2 turns into the duel and they don't have Scout. But, usually you want to, like, just have tons and tons of backer removal. I mean, just use Dragon, because Dragon is amazing in this matchup. It gets rid of, just, you know, like skill drains and shit like that. He goes for Winda, obviously having no lights in sight, draws a card. Winda is great. The problem is skill drain can kind of fuck with her. Oh, okay. The Dark Arm Daddy is in the house. So here's what's going to happen. Either he's going to lose his entire back row, or he's going to have to skill drain him or something. He's going after the monsters. Okay, skill drain is flipped. Wind is basically turned off. Now you're still in the position where you could attack over carrier. You just have to be a little wary of the Mirror Force, obviously. That's obviously cause for concern. So let's see if he's going to do that. He is going to attempt to attack. Again, you have to be concerned with Mirror. There's the Mirror Force. Always a concern. I don't really think that you would L in this situation, because bringing out another window doesn't do a lot. So maybe you just maybe you just want to add back your Shut Off Fusion. All right. Mathematician is one of the best cards in this matchup, because like if you normal summon Mathematician, it like forces out skill drains, because people don't want you to get an effect and then have to still kill Math and give you a draw too. So that's not really good. Alright, he's going into battle phase. He'll probably have to eat the 52, because Shaddolls don't play battle traps for the most part. I think that Shaddolls, they're just going to have to reinvent themselves somehow, because the go YOLO and hope you OTK your opponent, the win condition doesn't work anymore. Not only do you have to fight through floodgates in game 1, but when your opponent makes you go first, you have 5 cards. So the chances of you having enough resources to OTK your opponent when it comes back to you is very, very slim. And then when against Necros, like in Shaddolls, you have no way of pretty much playing around Valkyries. You know what I mean? Like, the thing about Necros, one of their greatest strength is, I said that they're a counter-punching deck. They only have to commit 1 monster to the board, and they don't really need to do anything else, because when you kill that monster, they have Valkyries as the backup plan if you try and kill them. And then when you kill their monster, then you let all their spells basically, like, you let them search all their spells for free. You know what I mean? So it's like, that deck is perfectly comfortable having their board cleared, because they don't care. They're just like, oh, okay, you killed our board. You're not going to OTK us because we got Valk, and we're just going to get all these spells for free. So it's like Shaddolls' inherent game, I guess, style, like their play style just doesn't really work against Necros. That is until they get Lilith anyway. So alright, Qliphort opens up with Pod Duality. He sees 2 skill drains and a Scout. If you're Crasher, at least you know you probably won't have to deal with skill drain, because 2 of the 3 have been put right back in the deck. But your opponent does have Scout. So now the one advantage that Shaddolls really had in this matchup was a lot of times during Qli's first turn, if they set up like this, usually they just have 1 monster. So it's like if you snatch, steal it, or you're able to enemy control it, you can do so much damage to them, because they don't put anything else on board. So it's like, oh, you just have 1 monster? Oh, okay, I'll summon Mathematician, snatch, steal your monster, and then game you. You know what I mean? Or I'll summon Mathematician, dump like a Fearless, you know what I mean? And then maybe I'll econ it or something. So he's gonna econ it using Falco. I like the econ play, but that's not necessarily the one that I would have wanted to go for. But I mean, it might work out. He's already committed his normal summon. He better have like an L or something. He still needs to, if not an L, then Shadow Fusion. Shadow Fusion would probably get him there if he gave up this and another Shadow in his hand. See, he would have essentially wanted Mathematician, because if he had Mathematician, he could have dumped the Falco and he still would have had 15 more. He would have still had 1500 damage on board. Looks like he doesn't kill him. He's able to attack for 38, if I'm not mistaken. He can exceed, just know that the sacrifice is going to hit the graveyard regardless. So maybe you might want to go into Exiton Knight, yeah. When your opponent searches the sacrifice, then they have 5 cards and you only have 4. So you get to nuke this. Don't know what the back row is. It's Vanity's Emptiness. Okay. I guess if he would have played Shadow Fusion, he probably would have played Vanity's Emptiness. So it's not really like, I'm kind of surprised he didn't just play Vanity's Emptiness, honestly. After he took the attacks, I think I probably just would have flipped it over. So Scout is met with Twister, and then the Monarch Stormforth is played. So, okay, he summons Helix. It's not that big of an issue. You'll have to take some attacks maybe. What would be a really good card? Well, it wasn't, but I was gonna say if that set was Sinister Shadow Games, that would have been really good. All right, so we're having a little bit of a set fest. Qliphort has the only monster on board right now. Kind of surprised to see him side in a Monarch Stormforth. I guess he feels like it's an easy way to get rid of a construct. Qliphort really could use a Mathematician. I mean, I assume he's playing it, and it seems like that's just the go-to card. Alright, so he looks like he drew what he needed to use a fusion. Beast. And Hedgehog. Oh, that's good, because it's going to totally give him Winda, and it's just going to pay him back. And keep in mind, he could easily just search Dragon, and like, not only is Winda already immune to Mirror Force, but then like let's say he had evac or something, the dragon he could summon the dragon and get over it too. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does here. I think I would probably, all right, so he does search dragon. I was gonna say I'd probably search first, and I think I would take dragon just because my dragon isn't over to your Helix. Oh, activates Regeki. I guess he just doesn't want any chances of skill drains. Okay, does he have a baby dragon? He does. He's got the black baby dragon, and Qliphort obviously had no way to stop attacks. He was looking at eating. Ooh, let's bring up the calculator right quick. 22 plus 18. That's 4K. So we're at what? 5,900 plus 8. So 67. Yep, he was looking at eating 6,700. That's a ton of damage. That's if that's assuming that Crasher 93 ran Cowboy. Personally, when I was running Shaddolls, I found the way to get Cowboy in that motherfucker, because I feel like Cowboy is just too important of a card. If you're playing a deck that can do a lot of damage, I feel like cards like Enemy Controller and Snatch Steal just exacerbate the need for Cowboy, because it makes it even easier to deal damage, especially against a deck like Qliphorts, where you saw Qliphort opened up with one monster and no way to kind of stop attacks. So Crasher was able to just pretty much throw everything that he had at him. Alright, so Shaddolls being forced to go first here. That does ensure that he's able to get a monster on board, and I guess the only way to counter it, presumably, would be to, yeah, I was actually going to say Monarch Stormforth it. If you Monarch Stormforth it, if it's a flip effect, it's just not going to work. So I wonder what he'll do here. Alright. I'm going to guess that that's Hedgehog, even though it's like he's open with Hedgehog so much, and yet again, it's Hedgehog. I think if I'm Crasher, I think I'm fine with that, because you just spent 2 cards for a 2,400 beater that I really don't care about. You spent your turn advantage on Stormforth. And although that may set me back, I don't think I care that much about it. So now now Crasher is going to see Qliphorts' entire hand. Scout's gone. That's already a given. But now he knows how to play against them. And more importantly, he knows that if he doesn't have any floodgate cards, he can just pretty much go YOLO. He'll take this attack, definitely. I don't see any way that he's going to stop this attack. If he has an enemy controller or something like that, I don't think that he would hold it. Unless this was an L and these two were both monsters, like a Felis and maybe like a beast or something. That's the only way I would see him not taking this attack. Maybe you go on the construct. You didn't use Yugioh this turn, so. Alright, so he's gonna absorb that attack. And Qliphort will set one. Keep in mind that Crasher knows everything. He knows all of Qliphort's resources. So there shouldn't be any surprises until now. This card right here is an unknown card. We could see maybe a tribute summon out of Qliphort. Maybe he tries to go after the back row, try and force it out. But if it's like a Mystical Space Typhoon, then oh my goodness, you just play completely you play completely into your opponent's hand. All right, so he's just going to summon Disc and go into battle phase. And it's another Hedgehog. Crasher is just, man, he's ripping Hedgehogs like crazy. As long as if he can successfully get this fusion off, I don't care what monster it's for. I'm going to say advantage Crasher, simply because he knows that he has the knowledge of what his opponent has. I think this is largely irrelevant because it doesn't matter what fusion he'll bring out. It'll run this over. Winda can't kill this, but you know, as long as he can play around the one unknown card, which is this card right here. But I mean, maybe this is an MST or something like that. The other card you should have pretty much known how to play around. Oh, he's got Mathematician. If he runs Fearless, this could be ugly. This is a card that we haven't seen him have in 3 duels, which personally, I think Mathematician is the best opening play in the deck because you either draw or you get Falco set up, or if you go second, you get the Fearless Arcanite play potentially, or you could just go Super Ham and you go for Black Rose Dragon. All right, so Vanities was chained. That may have been the unknown card that he didn't know that his opponent had. I thought it was this one, or he may have felt like he was just, you know, he needed to get the Vanities out. Because if you knew your opponent had Vanities, then maybe you might want to go for Dragon. Maybe that makes a little more sense. Okay, or Crasher just forgot that he had Vanities. I don't understand how that's possible. That must have been I'm gonna assume that that's the unknown card. There's no way possible you forget your opponent has Vanities, a card that can make it so you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Either way, it does not appear the Fearless is coming out unless he has like a Twister or something like that. If the set is a Twister, if not, then oh, cheat, dude, cheat. You just summon this. You can't set in the turn that you summon Math Man. Cheat. All right, whatever. I'm gonna see how many people are saying cheat. There it is, cheat. There it is, cheat. All right, yeah, he double normaled. Oh my god, he doesn't realize it. Watch him end up coming back and winning because of this. They're gonna get like 3 turns deep and then finally realize it. Okay, now Qliphort is realizing that you set in a turn that you normal summon Mathematician. And it looks like that Snatch still might be all she wrote. Him having, I don't know if Crasher just forgot that he had Vanities or what, but if he had Vanities, it makes no sense not to go for Dragon, because maybe you could even argue for Beast to get an extra draw, and maybe you draw like an inherent special summon like a BLS or something, although I don't think he had any lights in the graveyard at that time, so I think Dragon still might be a little bit of a play, because with Dragon, it gets rid of either one of these 3 cards, and then if you hit the Vanities, you can still technically Shadow Fusion as long as you have a Shadow on your hand, and we know that he searched Shadow Fusion, so it looks like this game should be pretty much a wrap, because this card can't be set. He Snatch Stole Mathematician. He should just be able to attack for game. Shaddolls don't run Mirror Force from what I've seen. All he needed to do is really just attack with Helix at this point, and that should be pretty much it. And that is it. Man, ladies and gentlemen, when you mind crush your opponent, you have to try your best to memorize their hand. Otherwise, it could potentially end up getting you gamed. Thank you guys for watching as always.